oceans are flat. The oceans are flat. You can look it up. The oceans are flat with each other. Here, you can look it up. Yeah, just look it up. Won't hurt you. Evidence and information doesn't hurt you. The oceans are flat with each other. Would you like to look at it? You can look at it. Doesn't hurt you. Whoops. Runaway banners.
At least it's light.
Would you like one? The oceans are flat. Did you ever hear this? Look, you can look it up. It's really good science evidence. It's a good study no matter what. Do you have any questions you'd like to hear about?
It doesn't matter whether it's flat or round.
Really? Do you care if your government lies to you?
Well, why would they lie about it?
Okay.
What's their...
It's about control. You know the kings didn't want the serfs to read, right? Do you know that?
Sure.
Okay, why?
Well, because they don't want them to be powerful enough or intelligent enough to take over.
Yes. So what's the difference between being educated with lies and being uneducated?
Okay, can we jump to the part where...
No difference.
They need us to think the world is round to keep us in control.
Yeah, you know why?
That's what I'm asking you.
Okay. Well, if you just think about it for a minute. The Big Bang is how they say it all came into existence, right?
Okay.
Okay, with a Big Bang, something exploded, they don't know how, and everything just went hurling through the infinite vast universe, and it all turned into balls.
Okay.
Okay, the Earth just happens to be in a spot where it's got oxygen and, you know, there's nothing really different about the Earth, right? That's what the Big Bang says. So we're just like another little spinning ball. Now, since the Earth was random, humans are also random. So then we have evolution. So then we can be treated just like animals. And they can make cages and put us in the cages for all these made-up laws that they have no reason to make up.
Before evolution, the authority treated us like animals anyway.
Well, that's because we got the wrong people in power. See, they lie to us and make us fear. Did you ever notice that there's a lot of things to be scared of in this world?
There was a missed step in the logic. Before evolution, before the theory of evolution, those in power treated everybody else as like animals.
Yeah, they had a divine right, they said. Do you believe that?
I believe that they thought that.
Oh yeah, they thought that, but it's not true. I don't believe it's true. I think all men are created equal.
So again, the part where it's important that the Earth is actually flat, why are they trying to convince us that it's round?
Well, first off, it's not something I'm trying to convince you of at all. I'm just showing you the facts, and you have to figure that out in your own mind.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to figure that out. You have to look at evidence and base your decision on evidence, not on opinions.
Okay.
Why do you personally think?
So when we have a sun, it reflects on water and flat surfaces with a line. But if it's a curved surface, you get a spot. But people who think it's funny, they don't even look at the evidence. They want to just laugh and think I'm a religious nut when I have nothing to do with religion today.
Why do you think they're trying to hide this, personally?
I just went over it with him. It's about control.
You didn't answer.
You know what? Do you want me to tell you what to think in your life? Do you need a mommy to wipe your behind? Why don't you think a little bit? Think. Do you know the kings did not let the serfs read? Do you know that?
You haven't given me anything to think about yet.
Okay, this is why. Right there. We are uneducated, even though we got a piece of paper that says we're smart. We're really not smart because we don't have truth. They feed us lies, and then we're living a life of a lie.
Okay. So let's say, okay, the Earth is flat. What do we do now? Now that I know, how do I apply that to my life now?
Well, we start teaching the truth. And that means that we have to revamp the schools.
But
That's why on Tuesday night I went and made a presentation to the school board.
Okay.
Because the schools are teaching lies to our kids. So this is just going to go on generation after generation being taught these lies. Why do you think it's funny? Do you look at this evidence? Do you understand any of this evidence? Okay, what do you think?
I think it's interesting.
No, about any block. Pick a block and tell me what's funny about it.
All right, the one that you brought up, you would want this to be a dot. You would want this to be a dot.
No, I say if you go home and look at it, you'll see that it's a dot. I don't tell you to believe me at all. I'm telling you to look at the evidence and test it for yourself. When I go down the shore in Wildwood, I can see Atlantic City 32.5 miles away. That should be under 200 or 681 feet of curvature. I should not see Atlantic City. No lighthouses would work unless it was a flat surface. There's something called perspective, and that is a limiting of your eyesight. But we have cameras now that can zoom in 60, 68, 85 miles and bring all those back. What? What?
Oh, I just wanted you to call on me.
Yeah, well, I am teaching this because you obviously don't know this stuff.
I do. Actually, I 3 years ago, I watched like several documentaries, Flat Earth, and just because it was so...
Well, I hope that you didn't go to the Flat Earth Society because that's a government-run organization designed to mislead people. This is how they do it, controlled opposition. If you want to look up and figure it out for yourself, look at the videos, and then decide on the evidence. But don't decide because I tell you. Look at the evidence. 2.5 years ago, I looked this up. I was the same as you. My dad was a math teacher and a pilot. My son a physics major. I'm not stupid. I'm out here because I love humanity and I hate the lies. That's why I'm here.
Another one, please.
Thank you for your effort. I know you believe you're doing the right thing.
Well, all you have to do is read that or look up those videos, then you'll understand it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There, peaceful, right?
I'm back for round 2.
Are you okay? What?
I still don't get, like, my question is, do you guys recognize Australia as a continent?
This is Australia here.
Okay, well, I've read things in the past that
There is a question about the size of it, though. I still have not gotten that answered. I don't know the correct size of it.
So have you guys actually sent anything up into space or like up
Weather
into the
balloons,
air?
weather balloons, 120,000 feet up, weather balloons, yeah.
Okay.
What is
fly?
in your head that you're saying it can't be? What's
Because when you fly somewhere, you're flying directly to that place, and people are saying that pilots are in on it and all of that stuff.
No, some know and want to keep their jobs. Some don't really care and don't look into it. But a gyroscope
You
is
realize
fixed.
how many people have jobs as pilots, right?
Sure.
So that's a lot of people keeping a secret. and
So
a lot
that's
of
your
people
evidence?
aren't coming up with it.
That's your evidence, though.
Yes, out of everyone.
Okay,
there's-
so why don't you look at the physical evidence? Why don't you look at evidence that you can test?
So physical evidence, yes, there's a globe right there. That's physical
No,
evidence.
this is on NASA website. This is the same diameter and different sizes in the United States. That's evidence. Now, what are you going to
Wait,
do with
can't
that?
they easily-
What are you going to do with that?
Can you-
Wait, what are you going to do with that? How can that be? Tell me how that can be. That's real evidence.
I don't know.
Okay, that's
not
on
real evidence
NASA
'cause it's
website.
Photoshopped.
That is photoshopped.
That is Photoshopped.
Yeah, because it has to be. It has to be. They cannot provide there's only one picture of the world, and they took that through a porthole.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot more than one picture
No,
of the world. There are a
Robert
lot of things taken from
excuse
space.
me, but Robert Simmons, he's the guy from NASA who puts all the pictures together, and he says it has to be photoshopped because they can't get a picture of the Earth. That's what he said.
Okay.
He said he takes these little strips of composites and puts them together.
Wait, so do you believe in the moon landing and that stuff?
No.
No.
No. Look at
What
the
about
moon.
Mars?
Where's the moon right now? It's up here.
It would be this
Okay, why? No, it was right over that way. It's probably behind the buildings. It's blue. The dark side, which is supposed to be not reflected, that's blue. Why is it blue? Why isn't it black? And did you ever look? Yeah, it's blue, like the sky, like you can look through it. Why is it
You know what an atmosphere is?
Why is it black at nighttime and you can see little white dots through it? Why is that? You have to ask questions. You're looking at textbooks and thinking, oh, I'm really smart. I can repeat what's in this textbook.
Well, you're doing the
but
exact
is it
same.
reality?
You're reading textbooks on flat Earth.
No, I'm not.
So all this is your own conclusion.
No, I watched the video.
You're listening to somebody else's own ideas.
But then I went out.
Their ideas into your
I'm
head.
just telling you what I have learned, and then I'm saying that you should look into it. You should look it up, not me. I'm not telling you what to think. You think for yourself. But don't believe.
Do you believe in the other planets? Like Mars is a sphere? Or is
When
Mars
we look at the other planets, which used to be called wandering stars, okay, all we get is a two-dimensional object. You cannot tell if that's a sphere or just a circle. You can't tell. And then I talked to two astronomers and they said, I could see Jupiter rotating. I said, how do you know that? They said, well, the red spot went from the left to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, well, do you think there could be maybe another heavenly body up there with a red translucent hue to it and it moved from the left to the right? Well, I never thought of that. And I said, well, then what about the guys who went up in the airplane to film the eclipse? Do you know about the filming the eclipse?
Yeah, and you can see the curvature of the Earth.
Oh, wait. First the guy filmed 5 separate little orbs up there. He filmed 5 separate orbs when he was up there.
What were the orbs?
I don't know. But they're up there and there's something. And we're not being told about it. Now, the curvature of the Earth can come in 2 different ways.
Okay.
You have a field of vision. You can see this far here. When you turn, you're seeing a circle. Do you understand that? So when you see that circle, you've been told it's curvature of the Earth, so your mind just says, okay, that must be the curve. The other thing is, when you have a wide-angle lens, you get a curved with that. It's called a fisheye lens.
I have one problem with this. With one of the things over here. I saw this.
Okay?
Like how it's jagged and whatnot.
Yeah.
When you think about it, and this is just my perspective, I'll listen to you afterwards.
All right.
When you think about it, the elevation changes of the world, the deepest part of the ocean that we know, maybe 7 miles, maybe, right? The highest point, Mount Everest, maybe, right?
All right.
5 miles.
Right.
That's not very large, right?
Right.
It's only, what, 15 miles in between?
Okay.
The Earth's diameter that we know of, right, is like 12,000 or 24,000 feet.
Diameter?
The diameter is 20.
The diameter of the ball, they say, is 77,900 and something. It's
okay.
3965 for the radius.
So when you do the ratios of all that kind of stuff between the height of like the different elevations on the Earth, when it says like why it's not jaggedy,
right?
Because it's so big, the ratio between the vastness of what we consider as the globe,
right,
versus the elevation changes would make it semi-smooth. Like it would appear smooth from from space.
Okay.
And that's why.
So you're doing the bacteria on the basketball thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We aren't bacteria #1, and it's really not that big. The equator is 24,000 miles, 24,901.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a formula. This formula has to work. Okay. If you don't like this one, you figure your own out.
That formula.
The formula has to work. So let's go. What is it for? Oh gosh, 32.6 miles away is Atlantic City to Wildwood. That comes out to 681 feet of drop. 681 feet. There's no building in Atlantic City that is that high, but you can see right down to the shore that far away. I mean, it's proportionate. So go by the formula and test it yourself. You look like an intelligent guy, so figure it out. Go test things. Go look for the curvature. Go to the shore, take your sweetheart, and look, do you see this line? Go do some experiments with glossy paper, and then turn it this way so you get a flat surface, and then you see the line. You got to do like little experiments so you can understand these things, because they're not telling us this in school. They don't teach it. I know, it's crazy. It sounds wild, but if it's true, then our government has a lot to answer for, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
So
You've convinced me.
yeah, so just look into it. That's all I'm asking you to do. Don't believe me, just look into it. Keep your mind open. Do you have one of these?
No, I don't actually.
Down here are my 3 favorite videos to start you off.
I'm convinced that the Earth is a sphere.
What's your name? Just a
Jared.
first. Jerry? Marilyn.
Jared.
Jared? No, Marilyn. Nice to meet you.
Oh, come on.
Hey, you want your man to be smart, don't you?
Yeah, he's an engineer.
All the oceans are flat. All the oceans are flat with each other. Do you like this? Look into it. All the oceans are flat. Here you go. Would you like to look into it? I can answer your questions. All the oceans are flat. Oh, he has a question. Beep, 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 beep. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, what's that? I can go over it with you. Did I go over any of this? This is the flat Earth map. North Pole in the center. Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge. There is a dome, and you can see it by look up lightning sprites because they flash off of the dome like an umbrella. You can see it. This is 60 miles of Lake Michigan. Here's Chicago. There's the formula. It's on this card. I gave you a card, right? Yeah, it's right on the card there. So there's flat. Water's always flat. You get a line on a flat surface. This is reality. You know, star trails. That's a one. You know the star trails? There's Polaris in the middle. If you leave your camera aperture open, you get these concentric circles. But you know what they teach us in the schools? They teach us this model right there. Do you think with that model you'd get those concentric circles? No. No way. There is no Coriolis effect. I don't think it's gravity that's pulling us down. I think we live in a torus field. It's an electromagnetic field, and it looks like a donut.
The question with the food. She already, it's on the... she explained it already?
He asked me something.
So what explain it?
So it's a torus field, electromagnetic.
Okay.
And we live inside that electromagnetic field. The electricity comes up out of the North Pole, and we get the aurora borealis because of the elements down low. And then they go up and around, and it goes through the filament of the sun, and the filament is light up like a light bulb.
All right.
Did you know the moon passes over the equator 26 times a year? Flat Earth scientists have got it going on. Oh, you have one. I'm sorry. All the oceans are flat. All the oceans are flat with each other. You can look it up yourself. All the oceans are flat with each other. You gotta look it up. You can't be thinking this is a joke. All the oceans are flat with each other. Look it up. Anybody curious?
Yes, I need a picture of this.
Oh. You can find all these pictures on the video down at the bottom.
I appreciate this so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Can I keep this?
Yes, you certainly may. Thank you for being nice.
Be careful, Noonie.
Here, would you like another one of these?
Thank you.
All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. How do you have that on a spinning ball? You don't. We are being lied to in the schools. I know, sounds crazy, doesn't it? Until you look into it. And you realize that water is flat. You're smart.
I am.
Yes, you are.
I
can't believe that.
Even if you don't believe it, if you look into it, at least you're curious. There's some people who are not even curious. Would you like one?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. You agree?
We agree.
Oh, yeah.
Love you. All the oceans are flat with each other? Are you at least curious? Well, curiosity is a sign of intelligence, but I'm not going to say anything about that. Are you curious? No? 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 All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. That means there is not a spinning ball. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to ask me a question about it?
Oh, no, thank you. I was just curious.
All right. Earth is not a spinning ball. All the oceans are flat with each other. Who laughed?
I did.
Come on, ask me a question, big guy. Come on, big guy. Come on, ask me a question. Come on. You know question about it?
Yeah.
What?
I got a question.
Okay, what is it?
You look at the Earth. How exactly are you going to say it's flat if you can sail around the world and hit the same spot you left from?
Yeah, you mean like this, sailing around the world?
Oh my God, you're funny. Stop, don't use that word.
No, I don't care. He's gonna find out someday.
When you're in the loony bin, I'll pull you.
Here, you can look it up. Never heard of it? It's all over the internet. And my 3 favorite videos are down at the bottom on the other side. That'll start you off. You get a bottle of wine and sit down because it'll throw you on the floor. I'm not kidding. 2.5 years ago, it did it to me. All the oceans are flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It doesn't. Water's always flat. Your swimming pool's flat. The lakes are flat. The oceans are flat. All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. I'll trade with you.
Very well.
You promise to look into that?
I certainly shall.
All right.
Bob Duke for Senate.
All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. Here, this will give you something to read on the back there. You're good. All the oceans are flat with each other.
Getting out of here.
Right there, really?
All the oceans are flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It does not. All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It doesn't. Earth is not a spinning ball. Earth is not a spinning ball. Excuse me. Here, would you like to look this up?
No, thank you.
Hey.
I will pay money to watch you go to the end of the earth.
Really?
Where's your GoFundMe? I'll pay to it.
Do you have 60 seconds?
Let me find. No, I'm not going to.
How about
listen to
30
this.
seconds?
I will pay
How
money
about
to
if,
watch you find the end of the earth.
All right, right here's the end of the earth. It's called Antarctica. It goes around the outside edge. Like all the world organizations use flat earth map.
Yeah.
But they leave off Antarctica. If there is a sphere, there has to be a formula for how far out and how far down it drops. This is a formula. So 60 miles across Lake Michigan, we should not see Chicago, but we can. Yeah, well, it's, you know, you'll hear about it again. I know you will. Now, what happened there? That was weird. Ah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All the oceans are flat with each other. Did you ever hear this before? Come on. Yeah, right. Put the video on, get a six-pack, and have a good laugh, right? But you might learn something, and even if you don't accept it, you're going to learn something. That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you. All the oceans are flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It doesn't. Information cannot hurt you. All the oceans are flat with each other. All the oceans are flat. How does that happen on a spinning ball? The Suez Canal is 100 miles of flat. Suez Canal, 100 miles of flat. Lake Baikal, Siberia, 400 miles of flat.
You can ask my mom.
All the oceans are flat. All the oceans are flat with each other. Oh, how are you? Oh, it's good to see you.
Yeah, I was walking. Okay.
Do you know what? Did you have a shirt like this?
No.
You do now.
Okay, good. So you're walking like that, but you're the only one?
Yeah, you know what happened? Dave came up and his brother wasn't feeling well, so he left.
Okay.
So yeah, I was up to, this is 4th Street, 4th and what? How long have you been here?
I just came like 15 minutes because the train took forever.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, yes. The train was stopping. Well, that was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes people will stop me and I'll talk to them. Okay. Gotten a lot of laughing, but that's okay with me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Your hair looks pretty.
Thank you.
So what's this barn? You say you were at a barn or something? Is that what you said on the barn? No? Okay, I read your text wrong. All the oceans are flat with each other. Do you have a question? Do you want to look it up? It's true. It's a... Here. The edge is Antarctica. It goes all the way around the outside. This is in the Boston Library. This is a flat Earth map as best as we know. No, Antarctica's there. It holds everything in. That's the edge. I don't know. I've never been there. Were you? Why would you ask me a dumb question like that? So, I mean, really, how could I go there? The deepest hole we ever dug was 8 miles. So that's as far as we know. That's all we know. 8 miles down. That's as deep as we ever dug a hole. So if there is a curvature formula, it's right here. For how far out you go, it drops, right? So that's the formula. So now you go take that and look down at Wildwood to Atlantic City. That's 32.6 miles. It should be 681 feet drop. But you can see all the way to the shore.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter? Okay, so NASA's getting $52 million a day, and they're telling us lies. So what's the difference between being educated with lies and being uneducated? You know nothing, right? Right? There's no difference. There's no difference between knowing a lie and knowing nothing.
Okay.
It's only when you know truth that you know something and you're strong. Did you know the kings never let the serfs read? You know why? Because educated people are hard to control. This is about control. So they give us a piece of paper saying, here, you know a lot of stuff. You're really smart. But we really know nothing because we don't know the truth.
Are the other planets flat?
You say that because, yes, and I'm going to tell you. No, I'm going to tell you. You're asking me that question because you believe in the Big Bang.
No,
This
no,
is,
I just
yes.
asking you. You don't know what I believe in.
Yes,
I'm
I do, because the Big Bang says we exploded and everything is round.
I'm asking you, do you think the other planets are flat?
I don't know. But when I look in at a telescope, all I see is two dimensionals. I don't see any spheres. That's all. Did you get one of these?
Nah, it's okay. Thank you, though.
You're not good until you understand this.
Okay.
Come ahead, baby. There, you want to push for a while? Okay, cool.
I bring mine.
Good job. I'll give you a bunch of these too. They're really good. So go ahead and start yelling out some stuff. I just say the oceans are flat. The oceans are flat with each other. You can look it up yourself. The oceans are flat with each other. You can look it up. Nope. Would you like to look it up?
All right, let's cruise.
The oceans are flat with each other.
I was not watching it.
Learn. What is it? Tierra es plana? Angie. Tierra es plana?
Yeah.
Tierra es plana. Yes. You can look that up.
Gracias.
Gracias.
¿Qué información hay? Hay información sobre la Tierra plana. No vivimos en una bola.
I promise you never forget you. She said, listen, you guys know.
The oceans are all flat with each other. Would you like to look at it? The oceans are all flat with each other. There is no spinning ball. Would you care to look into it? You can look into it. The oceans are all flat with each other.
When I want to, I can express myself. If I went to Germany,
The oceans are all flat with each other. There is no spinning ball.
When's the last time we did that?
Sure. Wanna look this up? The oceans are all flat with each other. The Earth is not a spinning ball. Did you ever hear this?
No.
Want to look it up?
The Earth is not a spinning ball.
That's correct. It is. It is. No, you don't. Earth is not a spinning ball. Speak up, Ange. Talk. Earth is not a spinning ball. All the oceans are flat with each other.
I always have my set of more because
Hey, come on, guys. We have an EMT down in Pottstown. Are you a flat earther?
Yeah.
Oh, good job. Here. We have an EMT down in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. He's part of our group.
All right.
Yeah, Richard Lopez. And he's on Facebook and YouTube. So check it out.
Trying to get a shirt.
Ah, we're out of shirts.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The oceans are flat. Wait, stop, Ange. Here, you can look us up. Yes, it is. And you can look it up. See, you gotta look out for people who are looking. If they're looking, there's a little interest, and then you gotta go after them. If the road is like tilted, you gotta make sure the cart doesn't run away. Earth is not a spinning ball.
What have you done? Beauty, did they call you?
The oceans are all flat with each other. Yes, yes. The oceans are all flat with each other. Here, you should hand these out. They're really a lot better.
Okay.
yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, the oceans are all flat with each other. Did you ever hear about this before? You can look it up. The flat earth. The oceans are all flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It does not. We do not live on a spinning ball. The oceans are all flat with each other. How does that happen on a spinning ball? It does not. We are being lied to.
Elbows are perfect, but you're extra Aren't those fun? They're cute, right?
Give me those fingers.
Oh my God.
Now stop.
This is a flat earth map. All these pictures coincide with the 200 proofs video, which you can find if you type in this whole thing at the bottom.
Well, I just need to call it. I'm genuinely interested. I do want to listen.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. But there is a curvature formula. That's right here on the card. So that's Chicago across 60 miles of Lake Michigan. You shouldn't be able to see that.
Research.
I'm very serious. Look, type that in and you'll get my 3 favorite videos. That'll start you off. Hey, you need a break.
We just took one. We got yelled at.
Yeah, this is real. I've been studying it 2.5 years. What's the first thing that pops into your head is how come this couldn't be true?
Because we've been to space.
No, there's no outer space.
What is it then?
What is like beyond the Earth then?
I'll show you what outer space is. This is outer space. Now, why would they do that? Why would they want us to believe there's an outer space? Because the people who started the United Nations, they all belong to this certain club of people who think that they are divine, and they started the United Nations. That's a flat Earth map, but they leave off Antarctica, see? So they started this because they want to bring in an alien invasion which will unite all the countries in the world. Then they can become the rulers.
Wait, I thought there was nothing in outer space. So how
There
is it
isn't.
aliens?
They're going to fake that.
Oh.
There's something called Project Bluebeam, and that is how to project an image. If you look at city over China, they've already done it. So they're doing these, they're practicing these things. You have to, this is really wild stuff, but you're not going to find it on the news. You have to look into these things.
Where are you studying this?
Everybody has independent study, and we all have like people we go to for different information. But did you know the moon crosses the equator 26 times a year? I just found that out yesterday. And they're, wow, I had never known that. But some guy, one of our guys is keeping track.
Wait, so how do you explain the moon then? So do we still have a moon?
Look at that.
Yeah, it's right up here. Where is it? It was right over here. Yeah, but you know what? You never see like the shadow part. You see a lit up part, but the dark side is blue. You can see right through it.
So then what is this space right here, like above the Earth? Like you said there's no space, but
there is a dome that goes over it. Now that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
look
it is
up
atmosphere?
Look up lightning sprites. Sprites are lightning that comes off the dome, and when they go off, you can see it.
This is what I was sorry.
That's all right.
This is what I was telling you about earlier. The wall.
The walls.
Yeah.
You're a flat earther? Or you're getting
I'm
there?
Like getting there,
yeah.
Well, I was reading about this.
Yeah.
What is it?
That, like, I mean, you
well, see, it's all on this video, the 200 proofs. Down here at the bottom, I put my 3 favorite videos on this. So if you type that in, and you'll see the time lapse of the sun, and you'll see refraction and atmospheric.
Of the vanishing point.
That's perspective. That's something they don't teach you.
Well,
now,
yeah, no, I have a degree in physics, so I want to hear what the concept of the
yeah, well, you know
vanishing
these
point
railroad tracks continue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you can't see them. It's vanishing point.
Yeah.
With the tracks, there's 4 planes that come together. The surface, the sky, and then the 2 lines of the railroad tracks. But when it's like
it's all one plane. It's flat.
These are 4 planes of vanishing point.
Planes of what?
Sight planes.
So they're lines.
I know you're having trouble with this, but when you go down the shore, you see the water and you see the sky. So then you only have 2 planes to deal with. That's why you get a vanishing line. That's why you see things going away over the curve, which isn't really there because we have P900 cameras now that can zoom in 85 miles. It can zoom in 85 miles and bring those right back into focus.
Take a boat out.
Well, because you want to prove there's no curve. You want to stay stationary so you can prove that you're not looking over a curve. If a ship went over,
why wouldn't you just take? If you were staying there and looking through a camera, why don't you just take the boat over that ledge? That's what I don't understand.
It's not a ledge. That's why.
So it's just a flat plane into infinity.
It's a flat plane to Antarctica, which is the last part that we know of.
So why don't we just take a boat to Antarctica and then...
They already did that, dear.
Infinite flat
They
plane,
did that.
Then you would just fall over
They went to Antarctica.
So I don't understand how if it's a flat plane and you can continue all the way to Antarctica, why can't you continue on? Because then you would hit the edge of that.
Well, because if you go past the... Are you going to listen to any... Are you going to stop asking a question so I can answer?
You've been very demeaning to me.
Okay.
I would like to hear how you would explain that.
So past the 60th parallel, you cannot go without military escort. Ever since the Antarctic Treaty in the 1958. After Admiral Byrd he went there and he found the edge, which we think is the edge, and so they kept losing planes, crashing into something they couldn't see. So then they made up the Antarctic Treaty. 53 countries signed on to it. And ever since then, there has never been a legitimate war, except when we go to a country, attack it for a false reason, and install a central bank. Do you know what the central banks are?
Yes. I also have an MBA.
I don't care, because you know what? What's the difference between being educated with lies or being uneducated? You have a piece of paper that says you're smart, right?
No, I look at evidence.
You do? Well, then look at this evidence and you tell me what's wrong with it.
What's wrong with a flat dimensional drawing?
This is in the Boston Library.
Yeah, there are many, many different ways that people have developed maps over time. I want to hear why, if it's not infinite, if it does end, that we can't get past that point of infinity. We have planes that fly over the Arctic Circle.
Why don't you tell me something? No, they don't, actually.
Have you ever seen a
Have you ever gone there? No. So we have to believe what they tell us. I'm done with believing what they tell us anymore, because I see flat water and I see ships being brought back into focus. I don't believe they're garbage anymore. NASA gets $52 million a day for propaganda. I am not putting up with that anymore.
Propaganda. What are they benefiting from?
Okay, did you know the kings did not let the serfs read? Did you know that? Why?
I didn't know that. God only knows.
Why? Because educated people are hard to control. This is all about control, and if we are educated with lies, there's no difference between being that and uneducated. That's what this is about.
Being round or flat.
Well, look, okay. So how did the round Earth start? What's the start of it all?
I guess Columbus, right?
Before that.
Columbus?
No, the start of the round ball Earth.
Oh, Big Bang.
Big Bang, okay? Who did the Big Bang? Who did it?
Who did it?
Yeah. It's around, yeah, I love that show though.